Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, and let's see the semi-final game against Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, the decisive one, because in general I'm sure if it's not a very exciting draw, um, it's better to look at the games where one side won. Certainly it's not going to be only all of my winning games, especially that soon we're approaching the final against Dingliren, where I suffered a loss already in the second game as black. So let's see the decisive game of this match against Vachier-Lagrave, and let's see the game itself. But before that, I want to show you some few photos maybe of that match. If you don't remember it, there are certainly a lot of videos on YouTube. The whole live transmission of the round um, from that day is available, I think, online on YouTube and somewhere else. So let's see here. We can see that it's Vachier-Lagrave thinking during the game after some queen c5, and I think I just went bishop b1 there, but we will see now closely the game itself, so it will be easier to recognize this position that you have now on the screens. So let's see the game itself. Okay, so knight f3, knight f6, c4, c5, knight c3, d5. I mean, Maxime played different lines against this. I mean, he had knight c6 as well. This one was the one I was preparing for. This d5, as he played it a few times already before playing me. And he even won a game here against Magnus Carlsen as black. So let's see what happened in our game. So c takes d5, knight takes d5, e3, knight takes e3. There are many moves possible here, e6, and so on. But transposing in different type of lines, Maxime mostly plays with g6. So knight takes c3. The point is that if b takes c3 after g6, more or less we're in the Grunfeld again. And a bit unusual Grunfeld. I mean, there are some bishop a3, some play with, delaying the d4. Some lines here, some bishop b5, rook b1s, and so on. But okay, it's a theoretical position, not as popular as the main Grunfeld lines. But the move that I've played here is d takes c3. Actually, with this move, I won a game against Svidler in Geneva Grand Prix, and I think I won a very good game there. Generally, I think out of the opening, immediately I had a huge advantage that I converted convincingly. And Svidler had real problems here. That's why probably Magnus implemented this line against Maxime. And in general, well, he wasn't precise in the opening phase, and somehow Maxime got a good play, and later it was a complicated endgame, and Maxime managed to win. So there he played queen d1 in this position. Svidler went queen d1 as well. But in our game, he went queen c7, and I think he already played it against even, I think, Svidler himself. This line with queen c7, actually very logical. So black is just developing the queen there, like kind of accepting the fact that they're slightly better in the endgame if they go queen takes d1. So they're declining this exchange and playing for queen c7 for just complicated middle game. And in general, of course, black is not better, but as well, they don't have too many problems, it seems. But I've managed to find some kind of tricky idea that worked in this game perfectly, and let's see what happened. So after knight takes c3, d takes c3, queen c7, e4, opening the diagonal for the black squared bishop, taking some central squares. And in general, the point is not to castle too early, so it doesn't matter if we go e4 or bishop d3, but in general, I mean, e4 is just a good move in general here, so it's more than enough for me to play it. And I think that black has some problems if they don't know what they're doing. But at first, Maxime played convincingly here, fast, like he was sure what he's doing here, and probably he remembered the notes. So it was e6, bishop d3. And now he went bishop e7, also normal move. Queen e2, not castling too early. Different moves are possible, but let's see what happens. So after queen e2, bishop d7. I think it was played fast as well. But now after this, let me see, just in case, because in the previous video I had a problem with the stick going over the squares. So let me just a little bit put it there. Okay, let me do it a bit more nicely. This. Okay, that's fine. I guess it's okay. Yeah. So bishop d7, castle short. And now the main idea of bishop d7 is to put the bishop on c6 and knight on d7. That's for sure what he remembered, and that's the probably the best way to play here. So bishop c6 is the move here, rook e1, now knight d7. Had some ideas how to pose slight problems for black here. Some kind of stuff that I prepared before the game. But also I've looked at the line that he went somehow, because I mean it was very natural. I wanted to understand what is going on if he just develops normally. So actually this castle was played in many positions in the analysis. Let's say bishop c6, rook e1. I remember here also I looked at some castle short. Yeah, and it was always bad due to this e5, and computer is also getting very excited here. Knight g5 is coming, a lot of tricks, and we will see now what happened in the game because it's similar to this. So knight d7 again would be the best move here, as I said, and then white can go differently. Normally they can go e5 and try to play for this kind of space advantage with some tricks on different flanks, some kind of trying to pose some kind of problems for black. Position is certainly unclear. Black is also generally doing okay, but probably they have to solve some kind of problems. That's what I hoped for. I had some ideas, and instead here, just after this, I was slightly shocked, but he went castle short. It's a bit unusual because of the fact that he already played bishop d7 and then he castle short. So if he would castle short at first, you would think that maybe castling short immediately would make more sense. Otherwise, it's not clear what is the connection between bishop d7 and castle short. But I think that he just forgot the notes. And also, don't forget that it's semi-final already. Around 20 days we're there, and it's a lot of tense rounds, tense matches, and certainly both players were already exhausted at this moment, and it was not so easy to play all the best moves, as we will see even in the game, that have made a lot of inaccuracies and so on. And generally, of course, we should not forget the tension. And also this game, if one of the sides would lose the game, they would become automatically candidates and also the finalists of the tournament. So which is also very kind of huge, puts kind of huge pressure on the players. So castle short was played. It's a mistake already. e5, very strong move. Now preparing the attack on the flank, king's flank. Knight g5 is in the air. For example, now if black goes just some knight c6, after rook e1, they have to resign according to all the engines. Rook e1 and position is simply winning, because the queen is going to e4, bishop takes h6, queen g4, mates. You know, everything is just coming there to mate black's king. And the only move that computer shows here is kind of f5 to avoid this queen e4 ideas. E takes some, I don't know even what takes, f6, rook f6 or bishop f6. Let's say bishop f6 would be more natural for any human player. Probably queen e4, g6, bishop f4, just completely winning. All the weaknesses, black has all the weaknesses here in the world, completely winning for white. I mean, then this, rook a d1, threatening bishop c4, sorry, threatening bishop c4, h4, h5. This position is completely lost. It's just +5, +6. So, Yeah, and instead, after knight c6, if white goes queen e4, they're also much better, certainly. After knight c6, queen e4, white is much better as well. But rook e1 is just easier way to win. I mean, the queen e4 is always possible. Queen e4 immediately is okay as well. Yeah. So e5, he went bishop c6, and knight g5. It was always in the air in all the lines with this castle when I briefly looked at it, and always computer was very excited about it. I saw that this will never happen in the game, but fortunately for me, this happened in this game, and exactly right after the opening. I was very happy, of course, to receive this kind of position, almost winning in 12 moves. So knight g5. If bishop takes g5, just bishop takes g5. Knight, let's say d7. Even rook a1 is possible. It's completely... Black is completely busted. Like queen h5 is coming, and all the threats in the world. Bishop e7, bishop f6, queen g4, bishop f6 somewhere. I mean, bishop takes h7, queen h5, bishop f6, and lots of stuff. You know, it's just bad for black. So knight g5. If g6, it's simply enough to play rook e1, and then support our brave guys on the flank with h4 and h5. It's completely losing for black. So he went h6, trying to complicate matters. Certainly he was very upset about his position here, and it's understandable because it's like clear attack for white, no counterplay, and so certainly he now has to defend for a very long time. Very, very weakened position of his king. So h6. Now, at first, I remember I was thinking about knight h7, rook d8, and knight f6, because it's exciting to immediately finish the game. After king f8, maybe some knight h5, and then already the threats of queen g4, rook e1, queen g4, like maybe move the bishop to c2 and queen g4, rook e1 without moving, probably it's already close to mate there. But unfortunately this doesn't work. G takes f6, queen g4 check. King f8 would be a very pleasant surprise for white, but there is bishop h6, king e8, some rook a d1, and white is close to winning. So instead, the very strong move king h8, and I was trying to search for the mate here, but in fact it's not a mate. White is just losing. So once I realized this, I immediately started to think about other options. And one of them that I've seen also while making the notes before the game was that in all these kind of positions it's always possible to give this check on h7 and go back with the bishop. And in general, it's kind of usual idea in all this kind of h6 when you have this bishop h7 and go back. But here especially, I will go back now to that position before I want to finish with this line. So after king h8, I mean anything. Let's say bishop h6, trying to mate. Just rook g8, and beside that there is no mate, there is also the threat of rook takes g2, and black is winning. So instead of queen h4, it's just f5, important move. Queen h6, king g8, and black is close to winning. So instead of knight h7, I could go knight h3, maybe as well, just positional. Rook d8, rook e1. And then knight will come to f4. Let's say knight d7. Maybe even bishop c2 first. Some c4 and knight f4 coming to h5. Much better for white, certainly. But I was trying to search for something decisive already in this position, as I felt it's very close. So bishop h7, king h8. Bishop c2. So the point is that the bishop on d3 was always hanging after rook d8, some c4s and all that stuff. And from here is just queen d3 is coming. So if black, for example, wants to kind of repeat the moves and play some king g8, there will be just queen d3. And after g6, just take on e6 and, this and this mates. So, of course, not king g8. Probably the best defense would be to go some g6, knight h3, king g7. But position is so bad that I don't even know if it would be a better way to play for black for the practical game. So knight d7 is one possibility. And then knight f4, for example, is possible, threatening some bishop takes g6, like right here, knight f4. Instead, Compi suggests some strange rook h8. Then even this is possible. Many moves, but let's say this, one of the possibilities, just to play it positional. Then c4, knight f8, bishop c3, rook d8, f4. And this position is just simply very bad. I mean, all the pieces are stuck there on f8, d8, h8, and whatever. White will just push everything up, like knight f2, exchange whatever, g4, f5, maybe knight to f6 at some point. It's completely winning for white. I mean, but practically, maybe that was not the best way, as I said. I mean, objectively it is, but practically, not sure. I think that what he played in the game puts more problems for me, you know, to convert my advantage. So he went c4. Yeah, c4. Depriving white of the possibility of this queen d3, as I mentioned before. That was the idea of bishop h7, bishop c2. Yeah, beside that, of course, have to show that this is not possible because of the mate there on h7. So c4. c4. And now I think I had to play knight h7. I've missed this win because I saw that, yeah, maybe my knight will be stuck there on h7. I somehow kind of believed Maxim here that something is not working there. But in fact, knight h7 is probably the best move here. So for example, after rook c8, I will just go queen h5. Knight d7, rook e1. Queen d8. Now, probably I can even go queen f7, collect the pawns, and so on. But that was actually, in general, what I was afraid of, to get, you know, this knight on h7 stuck there for some time and maybe lost eventually. And I will not only win the game, but maybe I even can lose it somewhere. But in fact, Compi says that queen f7 is a big advantage. But beside that, the most important thing is that the winning move here, queen f7, still it's a practically it's problematic. Some queen e8, queen e6, knight c5, some ideas of knight d3 somewhere. Well, I mean, some tricks still probably very bad for black. But the winning move here is just rook e3, like bringing last piece into attack, and black's position simply collapses here. It's just losing. Yeah, so instead of, after knight h7, rook d8, also probably crossed my mind here because of some rook d3 ideas. Still queen h5, bishop h6 is in the air always. Knight d7, attacking e5, rook e1. And I don't know any person in the world that could save this position. Even collectively. If you bring top 4 guys in the world, probably together they will not save this as well. Because it's simply direct attack on black's king. Advantage looks decisive. Even that there are some chances to save this theoretically, but for the compis maybe. But practically I think it's dead lost. So, instead of rook d8, he could go one of the moves, kind of rook g8. Queen h5, again knight d7. Again this rook e1, I think it escaped my... Yeah, escaped my attention at some point that this move is always possible, just to play this rook e1 at the end without calculating this bishop takes h6 like crazy, you know, all the time. This bishop takes h6 was in my mind. I was thinking about it, if it works or not, if there is mate or not. But in fact, just playing like this would destroy black's position. So queen d8 is maybe the only move, and bishop takes h6. It's completely winning. Instead of this, bishop takes h6. Yeah, bishop takes h6. G takes h6. And of course the point is that after queen h6 there is this rook takes g2 and rook g6 taking the queen. So this was kind of winning. I mean, there was no there was no danger in putting the knight on h7. There was not at all. I mean, if I would see that I can just go queen h5 and rook e1 calmly with this rook e3, rook g3, probably the game would end much easier for me. Would be an easier game for me. I would easily convert it, but in fact, yeah, in fact, I played rook e1 instead. I played rook e1 immediately. Now, kind of after looking at this position, I understand that the point was that I just thought I'm winning after queen h5, and yeah, as far as I remember now, I just missed this queen d8 move. So I saw that the next move is queen h5. Why should I just calculate all these lines with knight h7 when they're kind of tricky? At least it seemed to me during the game. I didn't see this rook e1 e3 maneuver at the time, and so certainly it's different. Now here with the engines, then over the board, also pressure as well. But after this rook e1, I saw the next one is queen h5, c4 is hanging, knight can always go to h7 or h3. Why should I hurry with knight h7? But I missed this queen d8. So the point of queen d8 is that if now you go knight h7, there is queen d5, attacking g2. And now it's a mess. Now it's unclear completely. So now the best move is queen g4. I guess that white should be still better, but it's not. It's a different story. And rook d8. And somehow they're out of the direct kind of danger. And it's not so easy to win this. It's maybe bishop e3, bishop f4, but it's still a lot of fight. Black will already play knight d7, bring the knight somehow. Always there are some tricks with queen takes g2 because the knight is stuck there on h7. So it's not the end of the world for black here. So one of the possibilities was just to play knight e4. Knight d7, bishop f4 was just positional advantage with easy play, and probably this should be very bad for black as well. Instead I went knight h3 in hopes of direct mate with queen h5. Now Maxim plays the best moves, queen d5, knight f4, queen c5. And now we have this position that I've showed you like on the pictures, on the GIFs there, where Maxim is thinking after my next move. I think it is this position. So here, a lot of moves crossed my mind, how to win the game. I was sure that it's winning somehow, but I couldn't exactly figure out what's the way to win this. And one of the ideas that crossed my mind was this, to avoid queen d3, otherwise it's just lost. And I thought about this, takes queen d3. Looks winning, but I couldn't believe that after this, there is no win. It's simply a draw. And that's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, so close. All the pieces are there, so close to black's king. Looks like kind of mate, but it's not. If white takes here, black takes here. Just then trying to protect his king, and they are successful in this. So this is not winning. Couldn't believe that it's not, but it's not. I found it out during the game. So another line was to play this bishop d2. Now let's say knight d7 or rook d8 and just rook a d1. And then bishop c1. It's a huge advantage for white. And again, this idea was knight h5, queen h5 and all that stuff still in the air. Very hard to play as black. Was a possibility, maybe the most practical one. Beside that, I had an idea of playing rook b1, again to play my favorite b4. Knight d7, b4, c takes b3, then rook takes b3. Now queen d3 is a threat, there is no queen takes c3. There is rook f8 still, queen d3 and knight f8. Desperately trying last chances to save the game, but still after queen g3, black's position should collapse at some point. It's hard to play, knight h5 is coming. The king is still vulnerable, and yeah, it's a huge advantage for white. So it was a possibility. But I was too excited when I found this idea of playing bishop b1. I thought I found the completely winning move. I thought it's just dead lost for black. Yeah. And so after, for example, bishop h4, it's computer's defense kind of, but bishop g5 is the best move as Maxim played instead of this. Then bishop e3, queen e5, queen c2, queen f5, queen c1, one of the possibilities I'm showing, one of the best. So queen somewhere to a5, it's just bishop d4. And everything is now looking towards the king. Queen c2 is coming, e6 is hanging, queen g4, h5, knight h5. Any possible move is now probably winning after this. Position is collapsing for black. So instead of this, they should go like Maxim went. After bishop g5, I was, to be honest, slightly upset. Because here, I was looking at the lines. I mean, yeah, but everything seems to be winning. But how exactly? Where is the exact win? For example, if queen c2, the point of g6 is that after knight takes g6, f takes g6, queen takes g6, there is queen takes f2, and white is getting mated simply. So what to do now after bishop g5? So one of the ideas before possible, but c takes b3, queen d3, g6, a takes b3. Kind of compy style way of playing this position. Should be close to winning as well, but still a lot of play after knight d7. Still have to find the best moves to win the game. Say knight d7, some queen g3, then maybe h4. Positionally, certainly lost for black, but still needs to be, white needs to be precise. Knight h5 was the move that I was considering here, with some bishop takes c1, queen c2, g6, queen c1, king h7, knight f6. But I was not sure about the evaluation of this position. Actually, computer suggests that it's very hard for black, but certainly I knew it's hard, but I didn't know if it's winning or not, and I was trying to search for the direct win. So I decided that knight takes c6 wins a pawn at least, and it's clear that I'm pawn up and a lot of chances to win the game compared to all the other positions where I'm not yet a pawn up, so still a lot of tricks and still a lot of work to do. So knight takes c6 seemed more natural to me. F takes c6, if for example instead of f takes c6 black, let's say, goes queen d5, then just f4, bishop h4, otherwise we'll just take on g5. Say, I mean, sorry, just a moment. Let's say f takes c6, f takes g5, and let's say knight d7, takes g5, knight d7, g takes h6. Just destroying, I mean, two pawns up, two bishops, attack on the king. It's a clear win for white. So f4, bishop h4, and now knight c7, for example. Knight takes f8 also wins. Knight c7, queen a5, knight takes a8. I mean, takes, knight d7. Yeah. Generally anything, maybe bishop e3 or knight c7 first, then bishop e3, knight c7, queen c7, bishop e3. Queen e2 is also possible, bishop e3, then queen e2. It's pawn up, two bishops, attack on the king again. Just the last thing left for white is to bring the rook from a1 to d1, like queen e2, bishop c2, and rook d1, and that's it. More or less it's winning. So, of course, Maxim doesn't go for this. He goes for best defense. F takes e6. Bishop takes g5. Now he went queen d5. Instead, he could go knight d7, but this is also desperate. I mean, it's like simply winning for white after bishop e3. Queen d5, f3. Knight c5, and just bishop d4 again, a pawn up. We will get the better version of the position I've got in the game with just a pawn up. The same position more or less, but even one more pawn for white. I mean, so it's like two pawns up here instead of one like in the game. So he went queen d5, attacking g2. Now, if white goes f4, then queen c5. And after king h1, simply knight d7, and position is very, very complicated. It's not the end of the world for black here. It's simply a very complicated position because a lot of tricks. After queen g4 there is queen f2. No, it's complicated. It's not easy to win this if it's a 1 actually. I mean, I don't know. Also, Compi suggests that there is knight takes e5 in the air with some tricks of rook f2 and so on. So it's kind of an unclear position. I mean, it's better for white, but it's still unclear. A lot of chances to save the game for black. So I went queen g4 instead of this. Of course, I saw it from far because here, clearly, if you don't see this, instead you go for some knight h5 and like before some queen c2 and all that stuff. Because this one, I saw that the endgame should be winning. Also, Maxim saw that it's lost for black. But I think still he had to go for queen takes g2 here, would be more practical. I mean, he went knight d7. He could go for queen takes g2, queen takes, bishop takes. Now two ways are possible. One of them is bishop e7, rook f7, bishop g6, rook e7, king g2. With the idea to positionally block the king on h8 there with knight d7, h4 and h5, and it's easy to bring the rook to d1, to d6. Position is close to winning. It's probably winning. And also, instead of this, the possible way is king g2. I think this was the thing that mostly concerned him. Bishop g6, knight c6, rook a d1, rook is coming to d6, rook d8, rook d6, knight e7, just bishop e4, then can take on e6, or after knight f5, also play bishop takes f5, e takes f5, some rook d4, king g8 e6, rook e8 e7, rook f6, rook takes c4. This endgame is very close to winning. So, but I think it was the best chance still. I think it was a try for black to save this game. Instead he went knight d7, still very tricky. But I think it's easier to play as white here than in that endgame where they have to be precise to win the game still. Here at least it's practically very, very easy to play. Knight d7. Bishop e4, of course, yeah. Bishop e4, closing this idea of queen takes g2 completely. Knight takes e5. Queen h5 is an okay move. Also I could go maybe bishop takes d5. Knight g4, bishop c6, bc, bishop h4. Should be also close to winning for white. Rook e2 comes here or here. 6, c6 and c4 are very weak pawns. Should be close to winning. Instead, I saw that keeping the queens is better. I went queen h5. Queen b5. Bishop takes h6. There is no check because of bishop takes f3. So bishop takes e4 is all forced. That's why I'm not stopping here for a long time. So bishop f4 check, king g8, queen takes e5. Okay, bishop takes e5, just rook f5, and there are still chances. Takes, then takes e4, takes b2, and so on. Takes b2 immediately. Yeah, takes b2 immediately, I guess. So instead, I went queen takes e5. Now, I think for the practical game, queen takes e5 would be the better option. Bishop takes e5, bishop d5. But position is also... No, actually, maybe he went right. No, I think this even during the game I saw it so, and now as well. I mean, it's like rook ad1, and then the same more or less without the queens, but rook is coming. No, it should be lost, yeah. Bishop rook d1, yeah. Okay, it's +7 almost, so it's a huge difference. Yeah, it's still bad, still bad. So bishop d5 is the right way, yeah. Bishop d5. I can show you more there, maybe if you have some concerns about this. That's how if it's winning and how is it winning. So just bringing the rook to d4, more or less like in the game. So for example, like goes rook f5, rook just d4. It's a different type of pawn up in the opposite color bishop, because it's a super strong bishop on e5. c4 is very far advanced, so the bishop can move between this e6 and c4 pawns. g7 is very weak, and everything is just going. Bishop is also supporting the h8, so h pawn will promote comfortably, I hope. So some rook d4. It's a very close to winning, I think, for white. Yeah, some, I don't know, some king f7, let's say. Rook e3 simply. Second rook is coming. Rook h8. Still, I don't know. As a human, I mean, Compi says that it's winning with some of the engines, but yeah, I mean, but it would be still maybe practically it's the best way. I don't know. The way he lost it in the game seemed very comfortable for me, so I didn't have too many problems there in converting the advantage. But to be honest, it's hard to say. I mean, this is lost, completely lost. White can go, for example, here they can already go g4, rook g5, f3, then bring bishop back, h4, h5, and so on. It's just completely losing for black. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, during the game, I saw that bishop d5 is putting more problems to me because the queens are still there. Tate knot is approaching. Rooks can go to f5, f8, somewhere sacrifice on f3 when white will try to stop this, to close this bishop with f3. So after bishop d5, I went rook e2, protecting b2. Probably the good move. Yeah, rook e2 is okay. Rook f5. Okay, queen is 3 back. Queen e8. Yeah, queen e8. I went f3, even though Compass suggests that bishop g3 is also good. So f3. It's very natural to close this bishop and forget about the threats against your king. Queen g6. And I went h4. This Compass, they don't like it. They think that bishop g3 was much easier than just bringing the rook to d4 and g4 and then starting all this bishop e5 and h4. Yeah, that would be a more clever way to do it. But I went h4. Rook af8, bishop g5. And here I let him some chances because he could go e5. Still bad, but at least some chances. So e5. Certainly instead bishop g3 would be a better way to execute the plan I wanted. Rook d1, rook d4, g4. Here white can take on a7. Some bishop c6, rook ae1. For example, in general, bishop stands not that great on g5, that's why. Otherwise, it would always go to d5 and it would be very comfortable for me, as in the game. But here it's like after e5, let's say, queen a7, bishop c6, rook, I guess, to e1, or maybe rook d2. Don't like rook d2 much. So this some e4, if it takes e4, rook e5. Some ideas was, rook e8, maybe taking on e4. Still a lot of tricks. Yeah, should be winning after queen d4, but still a lot of tricks. And yeah, e5 would be the best way for him. Instead, after bishop g5, he wanted to save this pawn on a7. Probably already had to give it up. Yeah, to try something. At a6, he went in the game. Now rook d1, there is no more e5. Now he still had to play queen f7 to try this e5. Queen f7, it's already a worse version here, because after queen f7 I can just go queen d2, and then queen e1, and then rook d4, g4, maybe queen g3 somewhere, and so on. It's close to winning. Yeah. So here he went queen e8, rook d4, there is no e5, queen c6, still queen f7 was better to try e5, but now already rook ed2 after this, and white is almost winning. Yeah, not letting the e5 is very important actually here. Just have this regroup to g4, bishop f4, e5, and then rook g4. So rook d4, queen c6. Now already I had to play bishop f4 simply, putting the bishop on e5, finishing the game immediately. Instead I went rook g4. Again letting him play e5. Yeah. He could play e5 here, and things would be much more complex than in the game. Already at least some chances, some e4, tricky things, with rook f1 coming and so on. So after e5 could go maybe queen d2 or queen c1. then trying to bring it through e1 again. Say this, and then this. Still winning, but a lot of problems on the way. So yeah, bishop f4, of course, we just finish the game simply. So for example, bishop f4, some e5, let's say. e5, bishop takes e5. Trying some tricks. gf, rook f3, just queen e4. There are no threats against white's king. Piece up and white is winning. So after he missed e5 here, was the last chance to defend. He went king h7. Now it's dead lost. Bishop f4 finally. Bishop comes to e5. Rook 8 f7. Bishop e5. I regrouped. Now it's comfortable for me, so I'm just bringing the pieces closer to the black's king. And I think the rest I did perfectly correct. So b5, queen f2. Threatening queen g3. Queen d7. Queen g3. Now the queen and rook is stuck there, defending g7. Rook f5 is not moving much. Rook h5. Bishop d4. Queen c7. Rook e5. Rook hf5. Now h5 was already easily winning, but rook g5 is also good. King g8, h5. So pawn is coming to h6. It's inevitable threat against the black's king. Rook will also, after some king h7, h6, rook g8, and h8 mates are threatening. So rook takes g5, queen g5, queen e7, queen g4, threatening h6 and rook g5. And the last move that was made here by black is rook f5, and queen takes f5. So I won the game, qualified for the final, qualified for the candidates. And I think it was a very interesting game in general. Even though Maxim played very badly in the opening, he tried to defend in a maximum possible way there, trying to pose a lot of problems and trying to save the game till the very end. And finally didn't manage, but I also made a lot of inaccuracies on the way. And he could have his chances also at the end, with all this e5 things that I allowed, instead of just bringing my bishop there and completely reducing black chances to create any kind of counterplay. So this was an interesting game. I hope you liked it. Yeah, so the next one, in general, I will do the Dingliren match, and we'll see which games I will analyze for the videos. Certainly 2 decisive games in the classical part of the match, and we'll also pick up some games from the tie breaks. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel. As I said and posted on Facebook, Twitter, and so on, let's grow our community. Let's become a powerful chess community. And please hit the bell to be notified about the videos that are out, about all the new videos. And also share, post your comments, and let's see the many interesting games that are there in the chess world as well. So it will not only be my games or kind of book about my top 100 games or something. So it will be certainly my wins and losses and everything. And beside that, of course, the games of other players. I will pick some games later after the World Cup videos are done. Thank you so much once again, and bye bye till the next video.